Turn off your cell phones.
Shutting things off is kind of like saying no in advance.
Yeah.
Oh, whenever you put your phone on Do Not Disturb, my number should be the one number that should be able to break
and
through
I
that.
said no.
You did say no.
You
You did say no. But I'm saying that was a bad idea, though.
AdventFit is a podcast that has a holistic approach to physical, spiritual, and mental well-being. In each episode, we share productive ways to live a healthier and happier lifestyle. Unlike other podcasts in this space, AdventFit gives you a comprehensive approach to fitness without the fluff for the everyday Christian. How to say no.
This is going to be a good episode. I'm looking forward to it because I know for myself, saying no is one of the hardest things for me. Mm-hmm. I have a hard time saying no to people. I was telling that to one of my coaches, one of the people that helps me to get things accomplished in life. And he gave me that assignment that for this couple of weeks, I just got to say no to things.
Yes. So first, you put your tongue at the roof of your mouth, and then you form with the lips. No.
Really, Jeff?
So thank you for listening to this episode of AdventFit. My name is Jeffrey. Okay, no, just playing.
Really? This is not Sesame Street. This is brought to you by the letter N.
The letter N and O. No.
Or on.
Yes, or on. Other way around. Anyway, why do people say yes to everything? So one reason people say yes to everything is avoiding confrontation. When we say yes instead of no, there's no pressure of trying to give an explanation or letting somebody down, that we might feel like we're letting somebody down if we just say yes to everything.
You don't want to hurt anybody's feelings and you don't want to disappoint people.
Yeah. So
especially if you like the individual.
Exactly. Another reason why people say yes to everything is to please others. If you have like a low self-esteem, like you want people to like you, and by saying yes to everything, you think people will like you by you just pleasing them, by just doing whatever they want.
You saying I have low self-esteem, Jeff?
You might. Talk to your life coach about that.
That's why I always say yes to people.
Talk to your life coach. So people who say yes to everything, they're like yes men. So maybe you're a yes man.
A yes man.
You can make the sequel, Yes Man 2. I think the first one had Jim Carrey, right?
Jim Carrey.
Yeah, Jim Carrey.
That wasn't that good movie.
Yeah, it was okay. He had better movies.
Yeah.
So yeah, people who say yes to everything, the yes man. You don't want to be a yes man in marriage. That's one of the. That's a terrible thing to be a yes man.
You don't want to be a yes man in marriage. You just want to say no to your wife all the time.
Not say no.
No.
No. But you don't want to be yes man in anything.
But you also don't want to be a no person. Like you're just automatically saying no to people.
Yeah. You want to have a sweet middle, like an Oreo or an eclair. Actually, the Oreo is all sweet. What is?
No, man. If you just eat the black part by itself, it's terrible.
Mad racist.
The cookie.
Only the white part is good.
The white part is
the black part.
The white part is delicious.
The white part.
That's why people always like they scrape off. Nobody scrapes off the cookie and just leaves the white part off.
The black part.
They should reverse that. They should have Oreo. If you take this idea, you heard it here first. AdventFit. Create the reverse Oreo where the cream is black and the cookie is white.
Do that. And when you do that, sponsor us. So you want a sweet middle.
Sweet middle. Like a Twinkie. Another white middle.
Another white middle.
Okay, all right, hold on. Okay, what about Reese's Peanut Butter Cup? That's a brown middle.
It's a brown middle. But the whole thing is sweet. It's chocolate.
No, white chocolate Reese's Peanut Butter Cup.
Oh, yeah. But the chocolate is sweeter than the peanut butter, though.
No, it's not. Oh,
yeah, the peanut butter is pretty sweet for Reese's. Yeah.
Especially for white chocolate peanut butter cup.
I never had a white chocolate.
I like that better than.
You like the white chocolate? Of course you would. Of course you would.
I'm trying to help you out here.
So yes, you need a sweet middle. So you don't want to say yes to everything. You want to say, and you don't want to say no to everything either. You want to have your highest commitment, like what's most important for you in your life, and then you prioritize that, and then whatever you can do, you do, and whatever you cannot do, you don't do.
That's what I was going to say. You want to be a yes person for things that are high priority.
Exactly.
And a no person for things that are low priority. You can say yes to some of those things if you have room and time for it.
Yeah.
But what ends up happening a lot of times for me is that I say yes to low priority things, and it ends up taking away the time of things that are meant to have high priority.
Yeah, and we're going to talk about that extensively in this episode.
All right.
Another reason people say yes to everything is the fear of missing out. So if you say no to something, you might not.
Talking about like when people invite you to stuff and you're like, yeah, I'm going to come.
Yeah. So you might feel like if you don't go, you might feel like you're going to miss out. Or if you say no to something, they might not invite you to something else. And then, you don't want to break that connection.
And the worst is when people say yes to coming to something and they do not show up.
And they don't come.
That's the worst.
That's why you got to learn to say no. And the one more reason why people say yes to everything is because they're compulsive. They're not they just say yes and they're not thinking about, they're not processing the information. Why are you looking like an attack on you?
I'm like, man, I should not have started this episode by saying that I have a hard time saying no, because this sounds terrible. But the reason why I said that this is difficult for me is because I want people to know that, this is a real thing. And I want this podcast to be relatable. Like, this is a journey that we're taking together here. And so this is something I'm trying to learn to improve in my life. And so a lot of times when I'm saying yes to a lot of things, guess what? I'm not having time to work out on that day. Or sometimes, unfortunately, I got to be real. Sometimes by saying yes, sometimes even to church members, that's taking away from time that I could be spending time with God.
Exactly.
Right? Because if you're saying yes to something, you're really actually saying no to something else in your life.
Yeah, like saying yes to something is like 1,000 no's. So why is saying no important? Setting boundaries in life can protect your mental health and give you time to accomplish the things that are the most important. We must ask ourselves certain questions. Will saying yes prevent me from focusing on something that's more important? Mm-hmm. Or will saying yes make me even more tired or burnt out? Here's a quote from Steve Jobs. People think focus...
Say no to Steve Jobs. Say no to Apple. Say no to all Apple products.
Definitely not. Apple is awesome. So anyway, here's a quote from Steve Jobs. People think focus means saying yes to the thing that you've got to focus on. Mm-hmm. But that's not what it means at all. It means saying no to the 100 other good things that are out there. You have to pick carefully. I'm actually as part of the things that...
Saying no to the 100 other good things?
Yeah, saying no to the 100 other good things, the other good ideas that are out there. So saying no to other good ideas. So there's the one most important idea that he's focusing on, and he's saying no to a bunch of other
So basically, ideas. Just because it's a good idea doesn't mean you should say yes.
Yes, because that's going to... yes, but...
No.
Meaning no, yes. Because he has a great idea, and if you say no, yes to all those things, you're not going to have time to focus on that one thing.
So you're saying that just because something is a good idea doesn't mean you should say yes to it?
Yes, because if something is a good idea, if you say yes to everything, that means you're not going to be focusing on the one most important thing.
So there's good and there's better.
Yeah, you can have a good idea, but then there could be a great idea that you need to focus on. So there's good and then there's great. So you have to focus on one thing.
Yeah, it's doing one thing at a time, right? Because like if you're like always going to the next shiny thing, you're not staying focused. You'll never get anything accomplished.
Yeah, let me finish this quote. With this, he says, you have to pick carefully. I'm actually as proud of the things that we haven't done as the things that I have done. Innovation is saying no to 1,000 things. So saying no to a bunch of things is committing to the one thing that you've focused on.
So that goes with your other quote where one yes is 1,000 no's.
Exactly, yeah, which I don't know who that's from, but he said the same thing. So,
so he's saying that innovation is when you can say no to 1,000 things.
Yeah, so he's focusing.
So that's hyper-focused.
Yeah, he's focusing on the one thing and say no to a bunch of things. And that's actually...
I guess that's why we only have basically one iPhone, just in very different variations, because they say no to any other style, any other type of phone.
The iPhone is amazing. That's like one of the greatest phones. Everyone has iPhone.
Super focused.
Yeah.
No variety.
And the one thing is actually a book that I've read recently by, I think, Gary Keller. And we have some points from the one thing in this podcast. It's a great book. It talks about focusing on the most important thing and then like targeting that thing, and then whatever is interrupting that or whatever is taken away from that, you have to say no to. So you focus on that one thing, what's the most important thing, and then you work around that. So if something else is infringing on that one thing, you have to say no to it. But if you have time outside of the one thing, then you can do it.
Yeah, no, exactly. So it's, again, prioritization.
Yeah.
Everything else cannot get into this sphere of time while you're focusing on that one most important thing.
Yeah, that's why you have to schedule. So you schedule time for the most important thing, and then you see how much time you have for other things. And if you have time, you can say yes to it. If you don't have time, then you have to say no. So make sure you schedule time for your most important thing and for your mental health. Don't just schedule all your time so you just have no time to relax. So relaxation is essential for your health.
Yeah.
Schedule time for your most important thing and time to relax, and then you can have time for other things.
And I would definitely say make sure you schedule time for God as well.
Oh, definitely, yes. Definitely.
Because a lot of times
that's the most important thing.
And a lot of times what ends up happening, we say yes to all these other things, we say no to God.
Yeah.
Because we don't have any more room for him.
Exactly. So here's another quote, and I do not know who it's from again.
You're just quoting
anonymous
unknown people.
Quoting anonymous. So
Anonymous is a very prolific writer.
He is. Or she.
I was about to say.
Or she is, yes. Extraordinary success is sequential, not simultaneous. Do the right thing, and then do the next right thing.
What does that have to do with saying no?
That's the one thing.
You should have said no to that quote. You got too many quotes in this podcast
so this is from,
episode. You should have said no to a couple of them.
This is from the one thing. So the one thing is you choosing the most important thing that's in your life, and then you have to say no to certain things that are infringing on that one thing. So this is dealing with the one thing.
Okay.
Which is saying no. So when you say one yes is 1,000 no's. So that all ties together. So this is a great quote. So I'm saying no to your comment.
It's good that you know that.
I do know that. I know when to say no. So some people try to say yes to everything, and they try to multitask. So there's a quote from this guy named Cyrus. And it says, to do two things at once is to do neither. So you cannot do multiple things at one time. If you try to do too many things, you're going to just mess up.
A lot of people think that they're very good at multitasking.
Yeah, multitasking is a myth.
Yeah.
You can do, like they said,
multi-switching.
You switch from one thing to another quickly, but you don't multitask. That's why when you're talking on the phone and you're driving, you miss your turn because you're not paying attention to driving. Or people get in accidents when they're using their phone.
So what about listening to music and doing work?
Yeah, that can be, unless it's like classical music or maybe something softer, like it can affect your concentration if you're listening to music and doing work. So you can chew gum and walk, they said, but then you're really switching. You're not really focusing on. You're focusing on either one.
Chew step.
So the gum is kind of automatic, and then you're focusing on maybe, or walking is automatic, but you're focusing on, you can only focus on one thing at a time. So that's why it's important to choose your one thing and focus on that for that one time. So when you have your time blocked for that one thing, turn off your cell phones, turn off, if you have an Apple Watch or some other kind of waste time watch, you turn that off too. And then you focus on that one thing, especially for God, for time, for devotional time. We should take everything off and just focus on God. Don't have anything else bothering you when you have your time with God.
Shutting things off is kind of like saying no in advance.
Yeah.
You know, I told you that you should to put my number on. Whenever you put your phone on Do Not Disturb, my number should be the one number that should be able to break through that.
And I said no.
You did say no. You did say no. But I'm saying that was a bad idea, though. Bad idea.
No, it was a great idea. So, studies conclude willpower is a mental muscle that is prone to fatigue. Diet actually helps replenish the willpower. So, if you eat healthier, you can replenish your willpower. But
so by having good willpower of your diet, it strengthens your willpower for other areas of your life.
Yes. But willpower, like we said, is a muscle that's prone to fatigue. So it can only last for a certain amount of time. So that's why you have to build a habit. And habit is built over 66 days. So if you can do something, if you can have your willpower for 66 days, then after that, it's going to become a habit. So it takes 66 days to form a habit. So you don't need to rely on your willpower.
I thought it was 30 days.
That's a myth. But it actually takes 66 days to form a habit. So you don't have to rely on your willpower for like the entirety of your life. For whatever you're trying to do, you can just you can rely on it for a little bit of time, and then you form your habit, and then you can do it.
Okay, because when you said willpower
is a muscle
fatigue,
yes,
I thought that meant that your willpower will eventually give out.
Yeah, that's why you have to try to form a habit. So it's not relying on your willpower anymore. Okay. It's just a habit.
It becomes natural.
Yeah.
I gotcha.
Yeah. So that's all about scheduling and the one thing. So choose your one most important thing, schedule the time for it, and then you can say no to whatever is infringing on that one thing.
That's awesome. Well, make sure you make AdventFit part of your yes list.
Yes,
everybody.
Definitely.
And again, if you want to connect with us, go to AdventFit.org and sign up for our email list. If you want to get to know us a little bit more, you can follow us on our social media accounts. You have my social media accounts and other awesome content on WayneJamel.com.
And you can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Mr. Woke. That's WHOKE.
And until next time, I'm Wayne Jamel.
And I'm C. Jeffrey White. And the C is for can't do it. Sorry. But we'll see you next week, folks.
Awesome?
No.
If you enjoyed this episode, why don't you click the like button?
And the notification bell.
Ding!
And if you really liked it, please share this episode with someone close to you.
But before you do that, subscribe to AdventFit.
Exactly.